Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching us locally in Bethel Park, Verizon 32, and only Comcast 7. Everywhere else you're watching us on Verizon, we appreciate it. Pittsburgh Sportsline hit a new high on Facebook, 2830.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody. We're on our way to 3K. We have a great day in sports, of course, every day here in Pittsburgh, but today there's a lot of unusual happenings and other type of sports things that we'll touch on in a few minutes. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. We got Chip the Prophet Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Zach Brenner. Little Z's back with us.
It's one sip show, and then, all.
I'm just trying to set it up for you, buddy, because when you give me that low key that you're just like,
Don't get sick on this team, folks.
No.
And I'm not even sick.
All right, we're going to start with what's on our mind right now with the guy who isn't on steroids, Zach Brenner. What's on your mind?
Well, I tell you, Levine, you know what's on my mind? The Pittsburgh Penguins. Last night, they had a 4-0 lead going into the third period, and almost, and when I say almost, I mean a little closer than almost, get relished that four-goal lead and let the Columbus Blue Jackets come back and take that game. But that's just one thing that's on my mind. The real thing that's on my mind, I want to go back to Saturday afternoon where I made my assistant head coaching debut for the Pittsburgh Rangers. Al Levine, the Talking Machine, came out to show support. What's on my mind is it was a scrimmage. It was our first preseason game of the season, and we were giving out jerseys to these young men. And when I say young men, I mean they're a little bit slightly younger than myself, not by much. But we're passing out jerseys in the locker room, and these kids are arguing with me over the numbers they're getting for practice jerseys for our first scrimmage of the season. Now, I had to pull everybody together and get up on my shine box and tell these young men that the number doesn't matter. You make the number. You play hard, you go out there, you make the plays, and it doesn't matter what number you have, and you'll be fine, So don't worry about what number you have, because you might think you're Paul Amalu with that 43, and you might get burned a million times worse than Paul Amalu. So the number really doesn't matter. The man makes the number. That's the way it is, and that's what's on my mind tonight, folks.
Good job, Zach. Tell him.
A little rant from Z.
Hey, you got to just let it
And
loose sometimes.
I'll give a little update on that. 26-12, Rangers won. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. Hey, I brought in some chocolate pretzels for
all right.
everybody. Everybody get their.
Order, who gave you that?
Thank you, Kelly Irish.
Kelly Irish. I tell you.
I thought Kelly Roberts did. I saw her. Here, guys, I'll take two.
Thanks.
I'll take two. Thanks.
Thanks, Kelly.
Before the show, I'll take
Oh, I got one. That's all I got. One of it broke
Get a
off.
little Z in there.
Nothing like a little Sarah's chocolate when you're listening to Smoking Jim Frazier.
But what's on my mind is Donald Sterling. And I guess that's what's on everybody's mind. He's the former owner, I guess, or still
Not
current
yet.
owner of the LA Clippers. And this afternoon, he got banned for life by the NBA, fined $2.5 million, which is the maximum fine. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, I got a lot of respect for him because he mentioned Chuck Cooper, and everybody knows Chuck Cooper is the first black to ever play in the NBA. And he went to Westinghouse High School and Duquesne University, a local product. Very proud of that. And the new commissioner is going to encourage the board of governors to force them to make Donald Sterling sell the team. The ban also includes he cannot attend any NBA games or team practices. Now, me personally,
Here we go.
I mean,
Folks,
personally,
get your children out of the room
And I'm going to have a
And pass
revisitation.
another-
Before whatever he says,
and pass
I
another
guarantee you,
pretzel.
I
want
guarantee you
some-
we're revisiting.
well, I want to ask the LA Clippers, where's their pride? First of all, I wouldn't have played the game. I wouldn't have been turning the uniforms inside out, wearing black socks, wearing black armbands, when I played ball, I played for my teammates, my coaches, my families, my friends, the fans, and for the girls. Not all in that order. But for my high school football coach, I would run through walls for the legendary Coach Pete Marino. But if I ever thought for 1 second that Coach had the views that Donald Sterling had, I would have turned in my uniform that day. You know, these guys, there's no amount of money, no amount of anything. Either you're on board or you're not on board. And that's what's on my mind. Give me them presents.
Hey, I'm going to give you one back. That was pretty darn good.
It's a great day for chocolate.
Wait till the revisitation for chocolate.
Well, thanks, Smoking Jim. No disclaimer on that one. Chip the Prophet Hayner, what's on your mind?
Oh, thank you, Alan. And much of what's on my mind, my dear friend and colleague here, Smoking Jim Frazier, touched on. But I looked at this in a different light, and I do believe that this is one of the things that bothers me about the whole Donald Sterling issue. Okay, here is a man that it's been well documented and widely known for a long period of time that this man had very racist views. Yet, nobody ever did anything about it. Okay, David Stern knew about his thoughts and his feelings, and nobody ever had the gumption to stand up to him and put him in his place. So subsequently now, an illegally taped conversation of his becomes public, and now all of a sudden everybody's getting up on their high horse and they want to run him out of the league. Well, yeah, they should run him out of the league. His points of view are archaic, they're idiotic, and then they can't be accepted, and not by any of the professional sports franchises or just by the public in general. That's something that should be put to rest. And I know it's 2014, and people make the comment, yes, it's 2014 and racism does exist. But just because it exists doesn't mean we have to accept it. And I applaud Adam Silver for taking decisive action. Now, whether or not this pans out the way he wants to remains to be seen, because the NBA does have their bylaws, and they need a 75% vote of the owners to get Donald Sterling out. And I'm sure if he wanted to, he could keep this in litigation for years. And by the time, they get the team away from him, he could be well buried into the ground. But it's a big black eye for the entire sports world. And I think if Donald Sterling had any ounce of sense, what he would do is he would just walk away quietly and end this and not turn it into a circus, because it's been nothing but a three-ring circus since it broke news last weekend. But that's what's on my mind.
I'll have to revisit some of that.
This might be the longest revisitation.
It's coming, folks. It's building.
I didn't even bring up any points yet. Penguins, Pirates, Steelers. I just want it on the table.
Yeah, we have segments for that, right?
Yeah, but we may not get to them.
Yeah.
Well, with the Pirates, I was hoping to watch a game when I got home, but it got rained out. So for all of you that... Well, he's still Rangered up. He was clapping at everything. I was watching him there. We got to talk a little more Rangers. I happened to be way up in the booth. He was clapping on everything. He was coming onto the field. You couldn't miss him because he had his, what is that, one of the guys that work on the street crew in the Public Works. He had that shirt on, and everybody was wearing Brenner Contracting shirts, even myself. So I don't know what was in the water he gave me, but it was an interesting day. It was nice. Duquesne Stadium, it was a nice field.
Hasn't been played on for a few years, huh?
The grass was nice and thick, so it'll be nice to see some other games there.
So what's on your mind? I'll tell the folks.
Well, what's on my mind is we got one of our models on our show. I don't know where I hold that. Mariah Torres, Smoking Jim's newest best friend, on the 4th. This will be a runway fashion show. We still got it's on Carson Street, 1602 East Carson, Smoking Jim. And that's after Saturday night when we do boxing at the Royal Place. We'll talk about that later. Then our good friend, Miss Freddie, if you can get a close-up of this. I want to just highlight some of the things because we do have events coming up. This is on Saturday night. Miss Freddie and Nicole B. They'll be at Moondogs from 8 o'clock till it ends. That's Freeport Road. Check that out. Now, here's another one at Moondogs on Saturday the 24th. If you can get a close-up of that, Miss Freddie. She'll be out there with the Naiads Hotel Band and Miss Freddie performing 8 till midnight. So that should be another show. Maybe we can make that one. No, I don't know. I think there's MMA fights on the 24th. Yeah, Saturday night. So there might be some action here. And with Pinnacle Fighting, I know they're on the 24th. Some of our guests have been here. We're looking forward to some of that, too, with Kama the Death Star Worthy. Eric Bledsoe, remember the young man? And he said, I will win. I will knock out my guy. That was the week before. Yeah. A young black man. Does that help?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Ding, 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 ding. I got it. Who's on first?
And we got another announcement. He'll remember this. Remember Jamie Chesney?
You remember her?
Smoking Jim?
White
Jamie
cage fighter?
Chesney.
Yes, I do.
She just got a fight confirmation of who her opponent is on the 24th. So it'll be on that May 24th. She'll be fighting in the cage.
Wow.
So I know where you want to go now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it might be the last fight. You might not make it.
Nah, she's an amateur, so that'll be somewhere before that. And that's what's on my mind. And now the much awaited revisitation of what's on our minds. This is getting to be a real highlight now, and it's usually about 20 minutes. So, Chief, start eating your
ready,
dessert.
Chief.
Anybody else out there, go get a nice cup of green tea, and let's go to it. Let's revisit what's on your mind.
Let's get right out the game. Let's go right out to Los Angeles. Let's take it right to the Clipperville. You know, I mean, I personally, my feelings are this. You know, it's America. And under the Constitution, like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And if you want to be a bigot or you want to be a racist or whatever, like, you could have whatever view you want. You know, there's a term where you can say opinions are like blank. Everybody has one. But my feelings with Mr. Sterling is that, you know, he's an old, sick, demented man that just, you know, basically wants attention. But let's not mind the fact that he was illegally wiretapped to obtain this information. It doesn't make it any better or right, but these things were gathered illegally against him. So, I mean, he was pretty much set up. But if you really want to send a message to Mr. Sterling, you don't ban him for life. You don't kick him out of the NBA. Just nobody support the Clippers. Take the Clippers and just shut the Clippers down, and, you know, and make somebody else come in and buy a franchise and put them in Los Angeles to replace the Clippers, and just let Sterling just stew over in the corner and rot away like the old sick man that he is. And that'll just, my thing is, I don't like to give. See, he's getting too much attention, in my opinion. And there's too much, like, it's just bothering me that he's getting so much attention. There's guys getting blown up in certain parts of the country, defending this country all over the world. There's so many things going on. And we're worried about this sick, racist old man over in California that's basically pretty irrelevant to Zach Brenner over on the East Coast. But, I mean, I'm not condoning his things. I don't agree with his views 100%. I'm from Homestead, Pennsylvania. Diversity is a huge part of my background growing up. I'm as offended as anybody else. But I also feel like it's taken away from, once again, with the media, from bigger issues and bigger things going on, to keep worrying about this sick old man over in California, that he'll get his. You know, he won't be able to go anywhere with a 10-man security squad.
You know, here's the one thing you have to consider about this whole thing, and the reason why action needed to be taken, because it's not just a matter of, we won't support the Los Angeles Clippers. You know, that affects the entire NBA, because the NBA does have profit sharing, and they do share money amongst teams. That's the NBA is losing marketing money that goes to all of the teams. So by keeping him there and allowing him to have his racist views, you're hurting the greater good of everybody in the NBA. So, I mean, something had to be done. They can't just let him sit there and wither on the vine, because it hurts the image that they're trying to.
Well, the one thing to look at real quick is you guy's a brilliant man. I mean, he's smart, but he's dumb at the same time. This is a guy in 1981 that bought the LA Clippers for $15 million, and they're worth close to $1 billion right now. But those people, and he's always said over the years, I really wasn't familiar with him because people have been banning the Clippers for years. Only thing in LA was the Lakers, but these guys are addicted to power, and he's always said he's not going to sell, even though he can get $1 billion for it, because they want the power of being one of 30 owners in that situation. But
It's an ego thing.
It's an ego thing, and that's what crumbled his empire, and that what crumbles everybody. I always say that it takes a lifetime to build a reputation, but only 10 seconds to tear it down. And that's what happened. Now with his girlfriend, his wife knew about it. He would bring her to the game. I guess she's in her 20s, good-looking girl. But he asked her to start taping the conversations because they would get in arguments and he would not remember certain things that he said. And she says, "You said this?" "No, I didn't say that." So she began to tape the conversations. What happened, and this is information that you guys won't get anywhere else but here.
Come
well,
back. Stop eating your desserts.
Yeah, this is hot off the press. You won't hear this in the media for weeks. So I'm giving it to you straight. What happened was the wife, and Chip brought this up. Great job, Chip. The wife who used to hang out with the girlfriend, the wife was cool with it. She was like, okay, well, he can't do anything for me. I'm surprised he can do anything for you, but so,
all right, kids, leave the room.
So what happened was the wife, after this girl that he done bought her a $1.5 million condo downtown LA, he done bought her luxury cars and everything else. So the wife was going to sue her for extortion, or embezzlement.
Yep.
Embezzlement, that's the
Yeah.
word. Those are different words. Embezzlement. So the girl went to get a lawyer. She got a lawyer, and after talking with the lawyer, because she says, "I'm not embezzling anything. All I'm doing is just he just making it rain." But anywho, but the lawyer was the one that said, she says, "Well, we tape all of our conversations." So the lawyer knew that, like Chip and Little Z said, it's illegal to tape conversations, and it's not admissible in court.
Right.
But the court of public opinion now is social media. So now I send the tape as a lawyer. I send the tape to L. Levine, the talking machine. L. Levine sends it to Little Z, and before you know it, it's out on social media. TMZ gets it, and now he's tried in the court of public opinion, and now as an 81-year-old. That's it.
Hey, the funny part about it is, and I'm a gambler man, Smoking Jim Frazier's a gambler man, I will guarantee you and bet you that there's at least a higher percentage in the league of old white NBA owners that have the same view as that crooked, sick, twisted guy over there in LA. And now they're just laughing at him like, ha ha ha, like you messed up, buddy, but I'm still going to keep my team and I'm still going to have the same views as him, this Uncle Tom guy. Like, I mean, to me, it's just ridiculous. You know what offends me more? You know what offends me more? It offends me more that there was a gentleman and guys that would protest the funerals of military soldiers at their funeral. They died for this country. There are people that will protest their funerals, We don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about this guy, this old guy out in L.A. that's going to die soon, probably. You know what I mean? Like, it just bothers me in this country. Like, if we ignored him and didn't pay him any mind to his views or his thoughts, what would his views or his thoughts mean to this country?
Well,
Nothing.
I'll let Chip go, but I know he's going to die soon, but I seen his girlfriend. He's going to die with a smile on his face.
It doesn't make it right.
No, none of it makes it right. But you know what? It's just another hot mess. And the funny thing is this story next week will be the back page of the newspaper, and
As
there'll
it
be
should.
something else that'll be the latest and greatest scandal or controversy, because that's just the way things are.
And that's how media is now. Right now, that's the number one story, and right or wrong, which it's definitely wrong. There's not a choice in this. The whole thing's wrong. And everybody's entitled to their opinions. You are entitled to free speech, but when it starts to become hate speech and everything else, that's why they have laws and things about that.
If you listen to the whole 15-minute conversation, though, it's not all it's not some of the points that he touches on. I guarantee you, a lot of the other owners feel about when they talk about their players, no matter what their background are. He said, "I buy these guys cars, houses, jewelry, all this stuff." So I mean, I'm telling you, like he's not alone in his views, guaranteed. So if you want to do something in the NBA, maybe put out a racial litmus test for the rest of your owners in the league.
But they have those laws and rules to go by. They just have to get caught.
Well,
Not everybody's going to have a girlfriend and a wife arguing about it, and extortion and conspiracy
but
and
also-
everything else.
Not everybody has somebody that wants to buy your team, and you don't want to sell it, so they kind
And
of
that's a conspiracy. I was one
manufacture
step
something
ahead.
to kind of get you to be forced into selling your team, so that look at the group that's interested in buying it. I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I don't believe in coincidences.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Sometimes I think, he bit, he stuck his foot and stuck it right in his mouth, and he has nobody to blame but himself, and he probably won't even remember what happened tomorrow. So,
Well, he'll know when he doesn't have the Clippers anymore, and Magic Johnson owns them in his partnership out there.
and
He's
that's
waiting
fine.
for
He'll
that.
still have billions.
That's part of conspiracy, and how's that a coincidence?
Yeah.
There isn't a coincidence
well,
there.
no,
There's powers that be that they work a lot behind the scenes.
That's
so.
a story for another show.
Yeah.
That'll be on What's on Your Mind next week when we got a new subject there. But they're all great points, and it shows you the different opinions we have here and how we're all brought up. And this world, it doesn't make it right. So let's hope it gets to some conclusion and it's not on the front page anymore.
It doesn't make it right, but it also highlights in society today that you still have people stuck in the 1950s and older. And, I don't know how much longer it's going to take to change that, but we're in the 21st century, and some of these old guys got to get with the program, or they're just going to die off, and we're going to move forward anyways without them.
Only thing that can wipe this off the front pages of the sports page is Johnny Manziel getting drafted.
That'll be another
By the
subject.
Cleveland Browns.
All right, guys, we'll get to that in a few minutes there. I think
We got Mel Kiper next to me.
All right,
chocolate
we'll
version.
do our Sip Sports Bar. We didn't have the meatball hoagie, but we had chicken Marcella last night.
I missed it.
It was delicious
It
there,
was most triumphant.
definitely. And I found out that
You miss all kinds
Aaron
of
Ward and Devin Shea, they don't
Nice-
like the mushrooms with
Nice
Marcella.
nice salad,
And it was
and
great.
everything. Oh, it's good stuff.
It was just you
Salad
just missed.
too?
Oh
Yeah,
man.
and matter of fact, what was even nicer?
salad's good for you, right?
Jazz Bonasaur, he served it to him.
Yeah,
Oh, the kamikaze kid.
How about that?
I'm telling you what.
And it was so crowded last night, we had to wait for our utensils to get cleaned.
Wow.
They ran out of forks and everything else. That's how packed it was. Z, I don't know what happened, but they had them in there for the Penguin game and everything else. And don't forget,
Where was
shrimp
Brenner-
on Sunday now.
Where was Brenner
Smoking Jim.
Contracted Cleaning Services?
Mark, call me.
Oh, they handled it. It's just they used everything up. But you know
I
what?
washed dishes.
I waited patiently. It was a great meal. Had a nice time. Talking.
When did anybody ever know you not to wait patiently for a free meal?
I don't know. You might have to research that.
Might ban you
And
from
he
the
got
league.
my
And you
free
got
meal.
your favorite meal to go to.
You know what? His free meal was
Logo.
it was delicious. Just a little while ago. I just had it a little while ago. Enough of my eating stuff. You got to come out to Sip Sports Bar.
Package Jim's up to go.
I'll give it to him.
Hold it. No. Let's clarify this. There's a lot of reporting on this under my First Amendment rights. None of this is true.
The fifth.
Batman,
Fifth
no fifth by me. I'll tell you what happened. I looked on my phone. There was no message that Batman left. So I go, what happened? His phone's gone. Everything he had with him was gone.
Except his dinner.
His dinner wasn't even made yet. They were still cooking it. He left so fast. There was a breeze going outside the door. He was that fast. Then I texted him. I didn't get a message for 5 hours. He must have been in a tornado or something.
He was so weak. He was famished.
I don't know. He had the best chili. I'm telling you, folks. He had a warm jar of chili. I never saw him eat chili, but he had this jar. He was so thankful. He looked like, the Heisman pose. As I saw him going out the door, I thought he was just setting it in his vehicle. He had it under one arm. He was like this, Zach. You'd have loved it. Chili.
The brilliant part about it, folks, is for you conspiracy theorists at home, watch what happens to Smoking Jim's bowels tonight. Enjoy the chili, boss. From Little Z.
I think but head out to Sip Sports Bar. We went a little off the reservation tonight when we're talking free food, good times. It was a great crowd. Of course, we had the Penguin game. We'll talk about that also, I'm sure. And we might as well end this Sip Sports Bar. Just be there next Monday. We got some great guests again, and we'll have some interesting sports talk. And Z said he'll be there next week, so look for that highlight.
Yeah, don't ever let your girl get sick.
Okay. Well, hopefully everybody's healing up and getting healthy.
Yeah, right now.
All right, we'll go to one of my favorite segments here, Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, we're going back to 2009 on this Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac, and we're going back into the war room of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they were most arrogant in 2009. They came off a Super Bowl championship in 2007, and they were still riding high in 2008 with Bill Cowher players. And 2009, the arrogance in that room was at an all-time high. And as you know, there's no longer any players from the 2008 or 2009 draft. So I would take it that they'll be a bit more humble this year in 2014. But in the first round, they reached a little bit and took Ziggy Hood, who is the best trap blocking defensive lineman I've ever seen.
He said blocking, folks, for you folks at home.
Oh, you mean the same one who will be doing that for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah,
Okay.
so they couldn't get rid of that first round bust quick enough. In the second round, they didn't have a second and third round pick that year because they traded it to Denver Broncos. So in the third round, they took a stiff out of Wisconsin offensive guard by the name of Craig Urbick. Never seen the field. Third round, they had two picks, and they took players who went to the same high school. Wow. Different colleges, but same high school. Mike Wallace from Mississippi and Keenan Lewis from Oregon. Those are great picks. Fourth round, they didn't have a pick. Fifth round, they took a guy who was short and slow. So Kevin Colbert was starting to draft cornerbacks in his own image. Joe Burnett from Central Florida, 5'9", didn't even make the team. Then they took the Tank in the fifth round. Frank the Tank Summers, who was blind in one eye and couldn't see the hole in the other, and UNLV, so they got rid of him. Then in the sixth round, they took a big bum from Oregon named Rashawn Harris. Looked like King Kong, but played like Jane, from Oregon. Didn't make the team. I thought the kid got a raw deal in the seventh round. They had two seventh-round picks. A.Q. Shipley from Penn State, who was 6'1", a center. I thought he could have been good in this league. I don't think he got a fair shot. And also in the seventh round, they got David Johnson, tight end from Arkansas State. Played a long time, fullback and tight end with the Steelers, but no longer with the team. And then to recap the draft, out of all the players, I felt like Keenan Lewis was the one that should have been kept on the team. I know that he's from down south. He wanted to play in the South again.
So that's why he went to the Cardinals, to be with the genius?
Well, he's in New Orleans.
He's in New Orleans?
In his
he's out of New
hometown. He was part of Hurricane Katrina and wanted to get back down there. Didn't want to miss another tornado. And but in 1973, Steelers had a cornerback by the name of Mel Blount. Wow. And Mel Blount could not get along with the defensive back coach, who turned out to be an excellent defense coordinator in this league, Bud Carson. They had words even in the media. And Mel Blount went to Chuck Noll and says, I want traded. And Chuck Noll says, you'll either play here or you'll never play. And the rest is history. In 75, Mel Blount set the Steeler record, 11 interceptions in one season. The record will never be broken again. Rules changed. And the Steelers should have did the same thing with Keenan Lewis. Should have said, you'll be transitioned, you'll be franchised. Right now, we're still looking for that corner. and we had a young guy who could play in this system at cornerback and showed it, but the Pittsburgh Steelers allowed him to get away, and now we got to waste another draft choice on a cornerback.
Whoa, don't close
that's
that yet.
what's on my mind.
Hey, folks. Jim Frazier Billing Department. The invoice is still not turned in, folks. It's still not turned in, folks. Great businessman.
Sooner or later.
Sign that.
Sooner or later.
Business fact tip of the week.
Take some green to
You
get that
you
green.
don't submit your invoices, the chances of you getting a check when the mailman comes every day are
Slim.
Hey, you never go broke if Channel 11 still owes you money, right?
No, but you got to get that. Get that cash.
shout out to the owner of Channel 11 for keeping his money.
Y'all still owe me.
Guess what? They're smiling while that bank's collecting that 1% interest.
Thanks,
They're
Jim
getting
Frazier.
1%.
He puts that on one hand at the roulette wheel.
There are no gamblers there. It's a family-friendly show, not all gambling.
It's my bookmark. It's my bookmarker.
Gambling's not illegal, and I said roulette. They built casinos, so it's not like I'm advertising for like backroom craps or like
I
an
know,
alley
but
dice game.
you always see why they got it in the state, that if
Well-
you have a gambling problem, call that number. That's
we
why
could
they
always
do that.
run that across the bottom. They're like gambling problem. Call 1-800-BC. Like I'll
No,
tell you
don't
how to
call
win.
BC because he's laying down the bets.
All
Stop it right
All
there.
I know is I won heavy money on the Super Bowl, and before the baseball season, I put a bet in with Las Vegas. They had 84 with the Pirates, and I took the under. Looking pretty good right now.
Fiction
now.
and fact is expanded. Woo! Now we're getting a lot of fiction out there. I'm not seeing the fact. It's just speculation.
I'm feeling
Let's
good
go.
about it.
Well, we're going to go to my other favorite segment here, if we can get to it. Chips trivia time. What do you got, Chip?
Thank you, Alan. Well, we got a bunch of baseball trivia for you today. And going to go all the way back just slightly before your time smoking, Jim. The first night game in organized baseball was played April 28th, 1930.
Wow.
Okay, it was played in Independence, Canada, and Kansas in a Western Association game. Also, April 28th, 1961, Warren Spahn, at the age of 40, pitched a no-hitter against the San Francisco Giants.
Wow.
Okay, and that was a complete game, no-hit. Something that we don't see much of here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another one of my favorite ball players, Hammerin' Hank Aaron, hit his 600th home run on April the 28th, 1971.
Became one of 3 players to ever do that.
Really?
Yeah.
At the time, in 1956, a Cincinnati rookie, Frank Robinson, hit the first home run of the 586 that he hit in his lifetime career. He spread his career out between the Cincinnati Reds and the Baltimore Orioles. 1982, Pete Rose went 5 for 5 to tie Max Carey for the National League record with 9 career 5-hit games when he was playing for the Phillies. Also, in 1988, the winless Baltimore Orioles set an American League record by losing their 21st straight game. So, that leads me to April 29th. Some interesting things happened then. Steve Carlton became the 6th pitcher in Major League history to strike out 3,000 batters. One of the first left-handers to do that. Actually, he was the first left-hander to do that. And also in 2005, it was the first matchup between 300-game winners in 18 years. Greg Maddux outdueled Roger Clemens in Chicago's 3-2 win. And not only did Greg Maddux beat Roger Clemens in that game, he also beat him into the Hall of Fame.
That's cold.
I love the Rocket there. I love the Rocket there.
That's cold.
The Rocket was a juicer.
And then now we're going to go to just a little bit of trivia that's
like
happening
the
right
juicers.
now in Major League Baseball. There is a rookie that plays for the Chicago White Sox that's setting all kinds of records for rookies. This year his name is Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu, a White Sox rookie, has started off in the month of April. He set a rookie record for leading the major leagues with 31 RBIs, breaking Albert Pujols' record of 27 RBIs, which was set back in 2001. And he extended his already rookie record for home runs in the month of April to 10. So there's some amazing things going on in the world
10
of baseball
home
this day.
Any
10 home
relation
runs
to
in 8
Bobby?
innings. I have no idea.
Bobby a Brave?
I know the
Jim's
player that you're
confused. That's
talking
baseball.
about, but I don't know if there's
think
any
so.
relation.
It's
But,
like Smith.
Johnson.
There's a lot of Smiths.
That's all I've got for trivia
There's
this
a lot of
weekend, guys.
Jose's.
Real quick, real quick for my generation, Hammer and Hank Aaron, he played for Atlanta, the Cubs.
No, he played for
Baltimore.
the Braves.
That's it, he played for the Braves
played
his
for
whole
the
career?
Milwaukee Braves.
Yeah.
He played for the Atlanta Braves.
Okay, and he retired a Brave.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to clarify that. That was way before my time, folks.
That's the Braves, not the Reds.
Well, they actually have records written down in baseball, and you can actually
I mean, they got
see
the
that.
Chiefs,
Seminoles.
Seminoles.
All right, we're heading. Thanks, Chip. I appreciate it. That's one of the worst chants I like, but we're going to go to Z time for a short little whatever he's doing there.
Hey,
Eat more chocolate.
always a
Have
pleasure.
another pretzel.
Well, this rain has
Get
got
more
me,
sugar.
This rain got me caged in. I'm ready to get outside. I don't know what Chip's up to out here.
Here,
It's
I'll
kinda
put a
hard to
flag
work
on
in
the
the
plate.
down.
We haven't had the flag
I
out.
worked 10 hours today out.
What number did they call?
There's money to be made, Zach.
Well, I don't have any Obamacare, so I have to work smart, and I don't want to get sick.
See, I'm still nimble of foot enough to dodge raindrops.
You know what? I didn't wear my boots tonight. And it's getting pretty deep here.
I mean, in my defense, I mean, cutting grass outside and building walls and stuff, it's just no fun to me. So I'm not, unnecessarily doing it. This isn't Shawshank. There's no reason for me to work in the rain, But what's on my mind?
No, Z time. Z time.
Z time,
We
what's
already
on-
covered
Z
what's
time.
on your mind. Two things.
All right.
Yeah, he gets confused.
Yeah, it happens. I'm
He's
punchy.
young.
I'm punchy.
He's young.
Only.
It happens when you miss a show.
It's that juice that's going to my head.
He's
I'm
on
sorry,
double
folks.
secret probation right now. Again. For all his fans out there, I don't know how this happened. He was doing so well one show.
One show. man,
No
you know,
notification. I had to text him in the middle of the show, and they.
I had to go outside and walk like 9 blocks to get some.
That's what has
service.
him riled up.
Wait, is that before you could find a place where it wasn't raining?
He went straight up the top
Some
of the
days, Chip,
parking lot.
even it rains on me even when it's sunny.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I hear you, Zach.
So, but Z time, I want to touch Lightning Rod Slocum went out west to check out a fight on Friday night, a Showtime fight, and the winner was Figueroa, and we immediately called out Figueroa. So hopefully he takes us up on that fight, and Rod will beat Figueroa if they fight, and we'll have another world champion out of the city of Pittsburgh with a WBC belt, even bigger than the interim belt that we currently have from the WBC. May 16th, Brutal Brendan Barrett will reign supreme in Atlantic City, New Jersey at the Tropicana Hotel. Hopefully me and Jesse Kill and Al Levine are able to go on the road and check out this great fighter and friend of mine who's absolutely vicious.
Oh, I was
in the
watching
cage.
his training video the other day. He's wicked.
That's why he's
wicked.
brutal.
He's
And,
wicked.
for those of you at home that don't know, I'm Zach Brenner, and most of the baddest dudes in the city are with Brenner Contracting. So, I don't lose any sleep at night when it comes to that department. We're pretty much good anywhere in the city. Lastly, another shout out to the Pittsburgh Rangers. It's nothing but the sky's the limit for us if we continue to work hard. Practice was canceled tonight due to rain, Chip. We can't afford any injuries out here, even to me. So, because we do occasionally put the pads on. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. So if you want to lead, you lead by example. So when the guys aren't hitting right, I put the pads on and I'll show you how to smack somebody.
Where should they watch you? Where's that going to be?
At Duquesne High School Stadium on Saturday. So we'll get another better version of the schedule that isn't in black and white from my colleague Smug Jim Frazier, and we'll plug it, we'll advertise it. But we won our first preseason game, and I'm righting the ship little by little. The Pittsburgh Rangers are going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. We got a lot of talent. I hope Jim Frazier comes out and scouts some of these guys. He is a scout. This is football, so semi-pro, but they're still pro in the title semi-pro.
Yes, sir.
And
Well, there you go.
that's
All
Z
right.
time, folks.
Hey, can I, great job, Z. Can I bring something up, and we don't have to discuss it right now because I'm not on top of it. I don't know if any of my esteemed colleagues are as well, but it's breaking news.
Whoa.
And it looks like Penn State coach is in a bit of trouble, James Franklin.
I just heard that.
Yeah, I heard some
This is
reports
news to
about
me.
that he somehow he was tied to having some contact with the girl that was allegedly raped, and it's remains to be seen. Even though everybody swears up and down he didn't have anything to do with any type of cover up or anything like that, but it makes you question as to why would Penn State hire somebody with that had any even hint of an impropriety involved with them, especially after what happened with the Sandusky scandal,
Well, it doesn't surprise me because look who's in charge of the NCAA. Just check out his record and his cover-ups. It's a simple.
There's cover-ups at every level of every
No, but
single
it's
thing in
simple.
this country.
It's
though.
been brought out
This
with him.
this goes back to the founding fathers. I mean, it's just the way it is. People place things over higher value over human
hey,
beings.
wait a minute. I hate to interrupt you, Zach, but
Late breaking
the
news.
late breaking news. Hey, you know what? Saturday night is the Pittsburgh Passions home opener down at Couple Stadium, and the girls are 3-0. They've started out the season undefeated.
When's the home opener?
This Saturday down at Couple Stadium, 7:00.
Smoking Jim, we
Kickoff.
got too many things to go to.
But, I mean,
I'm still waiting for
But
my
you know what? I think
invitation.
I might be able to get you a locker room pass.
I'm still waiting for my invitation to the banquet, but I'll get you a locker room.
That'll
pass,
get 'em
Smoking
down
Jim
there.
Frazier to the Pittsburgh Passion. That's a good spot for you to be.
Yes.
I got to start taking notes on all these
I mean,
things.
it'll just be familiar ground. That's what it looks like when you're at the gym.
No, but the girls, we've had them on. They're
Yeah.
friends of the show. They're undefeated. They're taking on all comers and knocking them down one at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and
I'd
they're
like to see them win the world championship again. They got one world title. At that time, they called it the Super Bowl. They won the
Super
Super Bowl. I don't know if they still call it that, but
Did you say the Super Herb Bowl?
her.
Oh, her.
Yeah,
not
Super
herb.
No, it's not in Colorado, Zach.
we're covering a lot of subjects.
What's up, Vasquez?
All right, where are we going? Steelers draft.
Steelers draft, folks. We got a scout on the board right here next
This
to me
is-
to my right.
Did you
I
hit the
haven't
button
heard-
again? Replay.
I haven't heard much from our esteemed scout about what he likes.
He's
about
getting
this
late
draft
breaking
coming up.
news.
Well, what I'm going to do, especially, I've never done this before for any group, but I feel so close to this group here, and
Give
thanks
him
for
a hug because he needs it.
yeah. And I tell you what, it's been a great association the last couple of years. But what I'm gonna do next week is bring in my recommendation that I'm gonna give to the Pittsburgh Steelers for all 7 rounds of the draft. So I'm
Wow.
gonna bring that in, and so we'll have that. And
Can you
and
tease
we'll
us
see.
with one of them?
I'll even do you one better. I'll bring in at the same time. I'll bring in my evaluation for the 2014 draft, and we'll see. We'll see who pans out.
We'll have Mel
I'll
Kiper
tell
and
you
Mel
what,
Kiper Jr.
The Steelers have so many
Picks.
needs, that it's like, where do you go? I mean, they
many draft
need
picks
help
you
a
got?
wide receiver.
9.
They need running backs. They need defensive backs. They need linebackers. They need defensive linemen.
Off the
The
top
only
of
thing
your
they
head,
don't need is another
Well, here's a-
soft
here-
offensive lineman.
I'll give you guys.
throw us a nugget.
I'll give you guys a hidden gem that this guy could be as good a player as since he could be one of the best cornerbacks since Deion Sanders. And it's going to be my recommendation in the 4th round. If we can hide him until the 4th round, I'm sure none of the Steelers have heard of him. Probably nobody in the country has heard of this guy. He played at a tiny school called Lindenwood.
Is it a college?
There's a golf course in Southwest.
And
Sounds like a-
yeah,
Wow.
the Sure is his
Now
name.
I know where you go late at night.
Yeah, and I tell you what, this guy is about 6'2". He played at 2 different colleges, and both of them are equally unknown. Washburn, he played at for a couple of years before he transferred to Lindenwood.
What kind of speed
But
has he got?
4.3 speed,
Nice.
can jump out of the gym, got great hands. And
No record?
25 over no record.
That we
20,
know of.
25 career
Picks.
interceptions. And I tell you what, this guy got the confidence. And the last time I recommended somebody to the Steelers as a cornerback that they didn't know or nobody heard of was in
Sounds
2000,
familiar.
2003, Ike Taylor, and he got a lot of he's a Ike Taylor with hands.
No,
No, I
way.
love
Taylor
that
with hands.
assessment.
I hope that's true.
Yeah.
That gives
So
me
we'll
something
try
to
to-
look forward to. But
Well, we've got Smoking Jim going on. Little Z's looking for an invite to the Hall of Fame boxing thing. We might as well go boxing right now.
I read this morning that Rod's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame as well on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's in town. If he's in town.
Is that Friday or is that Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He and Andy Sebastian both.
I think Rod's going to be in town because if you looked, he posted up at your friend and ours, Smoking Jim. We got an invite to the Ivy Lounge on Friday, but they're having the fights and it inbox Rod Sulka, $10 to go to the fights on Saturday night and see Mayweather fighting.
You can see it there.
Yeah.
And
I'm giving you late breaking
Yeah, I
news.
seen that they-
we
they
got
attached
invited
their
to
name,
things,
yeah.
and then Rod's putting it out there. So
Wow.
we
So
might have
maybe
to
after
travel
we-
on the road on
maybe after
Friday.
Maybe after we leave boxing.
Looks like Money's going to find another sparring partner and take him payday.
there's
Sorry,
no.
baby.
Hey, Madonna is no sparring partner by any stretch of the imagination. If you've seen him beat the brakes off of Bronner,
Is that the one that beat Braun?
Yeah. This
What?
is one of the toughest Argentinian kids.
I may have to watch that.
So you tune in for
Hey,
fireworks on
we've had
Saturday.
Argentinian beef. It's not that tough.
Probably going to be past your
Yeah,
day.
way past your bedtime. But Team Money is definitely going to come out victorious. You know, Floyd Mayweather prepares
Sure.
like no other athlete in the history of athletics competition that I've ever seen. You know, I've watched this man train exclusively all the time, 24/7, and I don't see any fighters that train as aggressive and as hard as he does. So he deserves everything that he gets. You
Just
know,
ask his girlfriend.
hey,
He's not in prison
nobody
anymore.
at this table is an angel or a choir boy, or they wouldn't be sitting at this table.
That's true. That's true.
My halo's intact.
I never had a smoke or drink in my life. Is that me?
All the rest of your stuff we're not even talking about. Please, we can't even go there. All right, let's talk some Bucko talk. I've been
Yay!
itching for a little Bucko
When was
talk.
their last win?
A couple days ago.
Pirates record sitting right now, they're 10-16. And Pirates have got some kinks to work out of the hose. They've started out the year, it was amazing. They started out the first 9 games of the year. Pedro Alvarez was hitting, Neil Walker was hitting, Starling Marte was hitting. Andrew McCutchen wasn't. Now McCutchen's the only one that's hitting, and Pedro
else is.
Alvarez is in a slump. Starling Marte is on pace now to break the major league record for strikeouts in a season.
I don't know why he's even playing at all.
He's swinging at balls that bounce 3 feet in front of the plate, and I think
He's aggressive.
No, Starling Marte. Let's make it well known. He's not a leadoff hitter. He's out of position batting there. I think he'd be better served batting 6th or 7th. Right now he's pressing too much. I think he's put too much pressure on himself trying to satisfy
We
everybody
just
with
signed
the
that big contract.
And I think he
31
needs to
mil.
get back to what he does well. He didn't have this problem with striking out before, and it's just something that they're going to have to work out with him. I don't know if they, because he's been up for 2 years now, if he can be sent back down to work on it or not. But he definitely needs to do some work. Pedro Alvarez is a streaky hitter, and he needs to get back into his swing. When he gets hot, he gets red hot. Neil Walker's been pretty solid this year.
From one side of the plate.
Well, and I'll tell you what, the pitching, and people complaining about the pitching, and to be honest with you, the pitching has been not as good as last year, but not as bad as what it may seem to be. It seems like in most games, when the starters will give you 5 or 6 good innings, there's one inning that they have a little hiccup in. And those are the innings that we have not been able to make up for because right now the bats have fallen asleep. These are problems that I believe that the Pirates are going to work out. I know there's a big clamor now to bring up Gregory Polanco. Gregory Polanco's hitting the cover off the ball down in AAA. He's batting .400. And I don't know if Gregory Polanco is the savior of the Pittsburgh Pirates right now. The problems that the Pirates are having run a little bit deeper than Gregory Polanco, but this is the same team that last year, before the Pirates brought Marlon Byrd on, was in either first or second place for 5 months out of the season. They've been there. They know what they need to do, and I believe that they're going to work their flaws out. They're going to get back on the winning track again before you know it.
I hope you're right, because that Kool-Aid, I need another dose of it. I'd bring up Polanco right now. The guy may never hit this well again in his life. If the ball looks like a beach ball, bring him up, whether it's major league or minor league. Sure, they can't protect him because almost nobody's hitting there. You know, we talked about that last night. You do need somebody to protect you, especially a young guy. But if he can hit, if they pitch anything to him, look at McCutchen. They give him very few good pitches now. And what's he do? He knocks the cover off of the ball when it's a good pitch.
And he is hitting real well. And, you know, if you brought up Gregory Polanco, he's definitely not a leadoff hitter. He's somebody that, I would put in the 5-hole. I'd put him in the 5-hole. You know, Russell Martin, who's been batting either fifth or second most of the year before he got injured, he's better lower in the order. And I think, to be honest with you, putting Travis Snyder as a leadoff hitter or even Jose Tabata would be a better choice. Putting Neil Walker in the 2-hole with McCutchen and Alvarez in the 4-hole.
Well, there's a reason why they're not bringing up the kid, right, Chip?
Well, there's several different. There's several schools of thought here, and of course, you know, there's the group of people that want to say because the Pirates don't want to, you know, they want to give him an extra year of eligibility. You know, you look at the players' development, the players that they have brought up from the AAA. They want him to get more at bats. They don't feel that he's seasoned enough. You know, he's only played 1 month of AAA baseball. But then there's also the school of thought that says, you know what, if he's that good, bring him up, and if he falters, you know, you can always send him back down, and then if he doesn't play his way back up, then he was never meant to be here anyhow. He didn't have the mental makeup to do it.
I vote for the second option.
I think we will see him sooner than most people expected. We weren't expecting to see him till June or July, and I have a feeling that we're going to see him up on the roster.
They're getting that
sooner.
desperate.
Put it like this: they need some wins.
They need some wins, and I'll tell you what: the two biggest holes in the Pirates team this past winter was first base and right field. Right now, the two biggest holes in the team right now are shortstop and left field. Jordy Mercer's not hitting, okay, and they need him to hit about 270, and he's not even batting his weight right now. And Starling Marte is swinging at everything that's thrown from anywhere, and I think they need to get more production out of those two positions. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see us potentially make a trade at some point this year, trying to bring in a shortstop.
Well, I disagree with that. Now I don't know how Alan Levine popped up on my phone.
Whoa!
But
Must have a point to make.
The biggest problem with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and their only problem, is lack of leadership in the locker room, and that when they backstabbed A.J. Burnett. This is what you get, 10 and 16.
You've said that before, and I couldn't disagree with you more. But, I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinions, and I respect yours. So, I just disagree with it. So,
A.J. could play in small market towns. He's proved that. He was in Toronto and Pittsburgh and did all right. As soon as he had a bad game, he ran on the team. He ran away.
Who?
A.J. Burnett.
He ran away. They didn't want to pay him.
When
the Yankees stopped
during the
paying,
season, he went and pouted. He wanted to play. Then he wouldn't even come in relief. He was bad in there because he sucked.
He's not a relief pitcher.
Yeah, but when you're playing for a playoff, you need a guy for an inning or so. He couldn't start. He gave up so many runs he couldn't get out
Pirates
the
had
inning.
20 straight losing seasons without A.J. Burnett. He comes in
and they had one with him.
He come in.
They had one with him.
First time he come in there with that pie in the locker room, man. I mean, that guy just a natural-born leader, and you can't replace that here, and you can't replace that with the Ravens.
If he was that good of a leader,
he was a Ray Lewis.
If he was that good of a leader, he wouldn't have choked at the end of the season.
To your point, when the Steelers started cutting loose all of the leaders on their team, look at what has happened to the Steelers.
Baseball's a little different, my friend. When you're not producing, you'd get rid of the guy. A.J. wasn't producing when it come time to the playoffs. You didn't even see it.
And that's why Philly gave him $16 million, because he's not a producer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think about it. He didn't produce when he had to. You're a guy, it's all about the record there. He fumbled the ball, buddy. He had the ball in his
But he
hand.
makes everybody around him better.
He didn't when he had the chance at the end of the season.
we'll
You
see.
got to look at the facts, like you say.
We'll
Hey,
see
I
where
like
the
his
Phillies end up
grittiness.
this year, and we'll see where the Pirates end up. It's a
Huh?
long season. We'll see where these two
Well,
teams end up
well.
come the end of the year.
Well, all I'm saying is he was right for this team. He may not be
For
the
a
leader
while.
for Philadelphia, but he was the right leader for the Pittsburgh.
Oh,
it's almost like, just say Hines Ward. In my opinion, Hines Ward couldn't have played for any other team in the National
You
Football
weren't a
League.
Hines Ward
but
fan
he was
anyhow.
he was a star here in Pittsburgh. He fit with
A
Pittsburgh.
star.
Your bubble screen
The
here, bubble
all-star.
screen there.
He was one of the
cheap
most
shot
ferocious
block,
blocking wide
cheap shot
receivers
block,
ever.
cheap shot block here and there. But he
Hey.
couldn't have played for any other
And
team.
I will tell you this: the one thing that A.J. Burnett did bring to Pittsburgh when he played for his 2 years here was he showed this young team what it took to be a professional and how to win.
And they forget.
He did it.
They're
Well,
like Donald
they
Sterling.
didn't forget.
They can't remember. He should have taped. He should have taped some of his pregame speeches.
I'm
and
gonna give
Hurdle,
you-
and
here's-
Hurdle is getting exposed.
Here's one of the secrets when you play. I'm going to give you a symbol.
Wannstedt? Is that Wannstedt? W?
I'm going to give you a signal. Here's what my
Is that
man
George
taught
Bush?
me over 3 years. Here, let me put it so you can read.
GW. Win.
When you don't win, you're not in. That's
All right, I'll give you
That's for your man AJ.
All right.
We get the
Yeah.
last 1 minute on Marc-Andre Fleury and the Pittsburgh Penguins. They had a big
Yeah, I
series,
got Pens
Clinching.
circled right here with a W.
clinching
Pens.
victory last night. Pens in 6 last night. They got it done.
As Al Levine predicted on the show, have no fear. Flurry is here.
Well, he's
and you
still,
know
he's
what?
still shaky over there. You know, Marc-Andre Fleury's still shaky.
Well,
Chip-
I thought it's a team
And
sport.
I will tell you this: I'm happy to see that the Penguins made it out of that first round series. What they were not going to be able to do is continue to play 50 minutes of hockey in the second round and make it out of the second round. They need to start playing 60 minutes of hockey. They let down last night and they almost let it slip away. And that was
Well,
a really frightening last 10 minutes of the game.
I like the cardiac kids because they're causing heart attacks and heart surgeons are back in business. But here, have no fear, 12 wins to go. That's all it takes for the cup. I'm a fan. Let's go Pens. Let's go Buccos. Get on the winning trail. A.J. Burnett, stay there in Philly. Give your man Smoking Jim a call and give him $5 back.
12
Thanks
more.
for watching the show.
12 more wins and the Blackhawks raise the cup.
Well, and he's a Pirate fan, and he says that about the Penguins. Go Pens. Thanks for watching the show, folks. See you at Sip Sports Bar Monday. Have a nice night.